What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. So, how to garner respect. It's coffee time. Okay. So, how to garner respect. This topic has been always fascinating to me and interesting. And I know for a lot of men and boys in particular, it's something that is very important to be respected. Okay. So I'm going to share with you some of the things that will help you garner respect based on my life experiences and life lessons I learned the easy way and the hard way. So, first of all, you need to respect yourself. Okay? So, in order for you to respect yourself, that means you have to keep to the promises you make to yourself. You have to act in a way that makes you see yourself in a positive, elevated light. But most importantly, you have to manage yourself. Okay? These three things will lead to self-respect. Now, when you respect yourself, what happens is, by default, you respect other people. And it's important to respect other people because you interact with people the same way you would like to be treated. So if you respect yourself, you're going to respect people. If you don't respect yourself, you are going to be disrespectful towards people. You see that a lot where people are either bullies or rude or disrespectful or insulting. And a lot of the times they act that way is because they believe they deserve that treatment. It also could be that they have received this treatment predominantly most of their life, and particularly in early stages and years of their life, and they've come to believe that this is the normal way to treat people, which is not. So understand this. Respect is received not because you demand it or you ask for it, but it's received because you start by respecting yourself. So that's the first thing you need to understand. Okay. Secondly, focus on yourself. Okay. People that don't respect themselves or do not basically see their life as worth living or having anything to achieve tend to be fixated on what others are doing. And in essence and subconsciously, what you're saying is that the other individual you're watching on social media, online, or even in real life has something that is more important than what you have, something that's worth observing and respecting and admiring over what you're doing, so you're willing to dedicate time and energy, in effect, to respecting what this person is doing versus what you are doing. So you need to focus on yourself. You need to pull back your energy, your time, and attention on yourself. The more you do that, the more your self-respect for yourself will increase. And most importantly, as a result of your self-focus, people outside of yourself will start paying attention to you. And as a result, they will start respecting you. Because when you're focused on yourself in terms of, let's say, getting fitter, dating better women, making more money, getting more life experiences, you start to grow as a person, and your energy and the way you carry yourself changes. But most importantly, if people have visibility into your lifestyle and the changes, you become magnetic to these people. Now, you're gonna attract two kinds of people, really: haters and admirers. And both are two sides of the same coin, frankly. But the idea is that either way, whether they like you or hate you, they will respect you. Because you focused on yourself and you built yourself or built something for yourself and you changed for the better. So focus on yourself. Okay? 3, be respectful towards others. I've already touched on this a bit in the sense that the way you treat people is a reflection of how you would like to be treated or you have been treated. Okay? So when you treat people with respect, it is implicit in it that you're a person that expects to be treated respectfully. Now, does that mean that every time you treat people with respect, you're going to get the same treatment in return? No. As a matter of fact, as I've stated earlier, there will be people that are going to see it as a sign of weakness or an opportunity to take advantage of you, or they're going to basically see it as them being above you status-wise. So they'll be thinking that the reason you're respectful towards them is because they're better than you. Now, granted, even if you run into these people and experience that, still be respectful toward them. Reason for it is that you shouldn't let someone else's life experience dictate yours. You chose a code of conduct for yourself. You chose the kind of character and behavior you would like to take on. Just because someone does not act like you does not mean they get a license to, nor do you give yourself a license to be impacted by their behavior. Being respectful towards the others is a choice you are making because you are that kind of a man, not because of any personal gain or advantage you perceive it will give you. Okay? So it has more to do with your masculine core, your identity as a man. How do you identify in terms of masculine behavior? How do you act? But most importantly, like I said, the way you behave is a reflection of how you would like to be treated. I think in a lot of religions, there's a saying along the lines of, treat others as you would like to be treated. And this is such a good statement, and there's so much truth to it. So don't let others throw you off of your code of conduct simply because they do not have a mature inner world like you. Okay? Fourth, always operate from within your own frame of mind, and be careful about stepping into the frame of mind of another individual or group. So to give you two examples of this, the first being is when you are interviewing for a job, the moment you apply for a job, you have already stepped out of your frame of mind into the frame of mind of the employer. And the reason for that is it's because you need the employer and they don't need you. You operate of a scarcity position and they operate off of an abundance position. In effect, there's a power imbalance. They have power over you. They simply advertise the opportunity and sit back and wait for you to come through. So, the moment you applied for that job, you've already abandoned your frame of mind and you fell into an employer's frame of mind. And this is clearly demonstrated during the interviewing process. They get to ask you questions. They get to dictate the pace of the interview. They get to tell you how much money you make. They get to tell you how many days of vacation you take, how many hours a day you work, what kind of results you have to provide, and what sort of punishments they can inflict on you. So, in effect, you are infantilized. You are completely helpless. And this is the result of you surrendering your frame of mind to step into your employer's frame of mind. Another example of this is when you're dating. When you're dating, if you are seeing a girl that is extremely attractive from your perspective, physically, let's say, to keep things simple, you find her that she's a 9 or a 10. You are gonna have a very, very hard time controlling your excitement and arousal around her. Unless you're really good at faking it and pretending, for the most part, you are gonna struggle with controlling your frame. And the reason for that is because, again, you come from a scarcity mindset. And from your perspective, because she has something you desire so much, she's going to be extremely abundant for you, which makes her desirable. But in the process of you doing this, you're pretty much pedestalizing her. And the moment you do that, you have effectively exited your frame of mind and stepped into hers. And that's when the games begin. She will most certainly 1,000% pick on the fact that you need her more than she needs you. Depending on how good or bad of a person she is, she will, make no mistake, take advantage of that to varying degrees. And you effectively have no frame control at this point, and there's no coming back from this. So these are two examples of maintaining frame, or basically how you would lose frame, right? You need to maintain your frame to be respected, okay? You need to be your own point of origin. Nobody gets to influence you or shape you. Nobody gets to dictate what you believe, how you act, how you operate in life. You are effectively unshakable in your belief system. If you don't have that, people won't respect you. So it's very, very important that you have a solid frame of mind and you operate out of a solid frame. Last but not least, and this one is controversial, but to be respected, to a certain extent, you have to be feared. Okay? The problem with respect on its own is that it requires a lot of energy and resources to maintain. And it's very easy to lose. It takes a long time to build respect, but it takes only a moment for it to be lost. So you want your respect to have a healthy dose of fear mixed in there. Now, I'm not saying go out and hurt people, but you need to demonstrate that you are not someone to be fucked with. For example, if you're a person in your gym that deadlifts 700 pounds and people around you, including the assholes and bullies, watch that, not only are they going to be forced to respect you, but even when they attempt to mess with you, they will think multiple times before they consider disrespecting you. Okay? Now, why is that? It's very understandable that it's abnormal for most people to deadlift 700 pounds. Now, what does deadlifting 700 pounds implies? It implies strong nerves. It implies strong physicality. It implies a strong mind. But most importantly, it implies dominance. Now, people don't think of it in these terms. It registers at a much more subconscious and animalic level, at the reptilian level of the brain. So that's one example. Another example is if you are a successful MMA fighter with a strong record of wins, people will think twice before they mess with you. Whether they like it or not, they will respect you because you do something that is extremely hard with a high probability of being severely injured or rendering you dead, and you're willingly doing it. Again, something most people would not partake willingly in. So people will respect you for that. And again, there's a healthy dose of fear here mixed in again. Same with the deadlifting 700 pounds. Last but not least is if you started a business from scratch and you became, let's say, a multi-millionaire or billionaire. People, whether they like you or not, agree with you or not, will respect you. And the reason for that is because you have ample amounts of resources at your disposal that you would potentially use to pretty much subdue or eliminate anybody that attempts to even think of threatening you. Again, people do not think consciously of this, but at a subconscious level, they understand that you are somebody not to be fucked with. And inherently, they will treat you with respect. Now, their intention might not be to be respectful towards you. The respect is predominantly the result of fear of you. Nonetheless, they will respect you. And it's this kind of respect that's pretty much not only performative, but demonstrative, that makes sure that it's long-lived, because there's an implicit fear and dominance within it. Okay? So, this is it for this upload, you guys. Hopefully this is helpful for some of you out there. If you did find this helpful, consider subscribing to the channel. Consider giving me a thumbs up and turning on the bell notification button. Make sure to leave a comment down below sharing your own tidbits on garnering and gaining respect that you've learned through life so far. I do have a link in the description box for those of you interested in working one-on-one with me in terms of self-improvement. So that encompasses your diet, your fitness, your wealth generation, financial planning, as well as any psychological based topics that will lead to your overall improvement. Feel free to book your slot using the Calendly link in the description box. With that said, you guys, I'm gonna wrap it up here. As per usual, very much appreciate your time and attention, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.